Okay, so we're now continuing with part two, and we were just talking about, oh, we covered so much stuff. You'll have to just watch part one. But what we were just talking about right at the end was how trauma registers in the body and the stress response, and how your physical gut health response can affect your emotions, but simultaneously, your emotions can also affect your physical response. So it goes both ways, and we're meandered into the trauma response that happens in bodies. So Angelica is an amazing gut health coach, and we're going to continue. Okay, the next question, if you believe that you do have gut health issues, what are some specific questions that people should ask their doctor, healthcare professional, gut health coach, health coach? What are some specific questions that people could write down and ask whoever they're working with to get to more clear answers?
Awesome. I love it. Okay. I'm just going to keep it real that if you ask for a lot of the things I'm about to share, if you're on like a standard Western health insurance plan, your doctor probably is not working with these kind of evaluations, but I'm going to give them to you anyway. And again, see what your doctors, see how they receive it, see if they're open-minded and like look at you as an equal and take it in, and if they're able to serve you from there. So the first thing that everybody could be evaluating is there a sufficiency of your gut organs and your I call it your digestive juices, okay? So a really easy way to detect this is through a stool test. So yes, it's going to involve you collecting your own stool. It's really eye-opening experience, but you essentially collect it, put it in a vial, and send it to a lab, which can evaluate the chemistry and see if you are, creating adequate enzymes to break down your food. These come from our pancreas, okay? They can evaluate if you're creating enough bile, which breaks down fat and helps us detoxify so much and dump so much through our bowels. It can evaluate if you're having inflammation in your gut. It can evaluate markers that would indicate if you have a leaky gut, okay? So this is a really good first step to addressing a root cause of your digestive issues. Just see if your organs are doing their job, okay? So once you address that, the next thing I would really look at is food sensitivities. Now, there's a lot of talk on the town about how those tests are a sham and how it's not really that accurate. But honestly, in my own experience, when I found out and addressed the food sensitivities, it changed the game. I just really was not able to get any improvement or to make any progress in my gut healing regimens because I kept recreating inflammation in my gut by eating the wrong foods. So I urge people to address this next, because the next piece I'm going to talk about, it also will be impacted by you eating foods that are inflammatory for your body. Okay. So a lot of ways that I like to do this is through a blood test. You can ask for your doctor if you can evaluate yourself for gluten and wheat sensitivity. Look for wheat, not just gluten, because it's so common to have a disorder related to wheat, not just gluten, which is one protein found in the wheat. There are other parts of wheat that are also really inflammatory. So please, please, please ask for a wheat sensitivity evaluation. There's also a really great lab I love called Vibrant Wellness, and they have a Zoomer, which is a really amazing comprehensive wheat sensitivity panel. And they also have a ton of other food panels like eggs, nuts, dairy, all the things. So that's the second stop I would really urge people to go to after they've evaluated and covered the gut functioning. Okay. Last step, I think, to evaluate is your balance of organisms. Again, this is going to be through a stool test. There are other indirect ways to measure what kind of organisms might be in your gut, but to keep it simple, a stool test will show you what is in your microbiome. If you have parasitic, fungal, like yeast and other types of fungi, or bacterial imbalance. So you get to evaluate that and you get to see what kind of what's there so that you can then take actions to rebalance it and get your microbiome back in a really happy and healthy state that will help you digest food better, that'll potentially relieve you of a lot of the digestive discomfort you're experiencing. So those are kind of the three main ways I think that your doctor could serve you.
Amazing. Okay, so let's say that a health practitioner or health coach is watching this and they found insight. What should they ask their patient?
Ooh, great question. Well, that's a tough one, because I think to have a really thorough analysis of a problem, like a body is not a problem, it's a very complex system, and I think it warrants like a really deep history, like a doctor to take a really deep history. And often, if anyone's been to a doctor in their health insurance network, you get like a few minutes with your doctor. Usually you see the medical assistant, they take all your vitals, you get a physician's assistant doing some stuff with you in the examination room. The doctor might come in for a few minutes, look at your chart, and that's all you get. But in fact, to really like examine the body from on a functional level, like let's see what's happening in your digestive tract, like let's see what your blood tests are showing us. Let's see what some of these other tests are revealing to us about, what could be getting in your way of having energy. It takes like a thorough appointment, usually like talking to someone for an hour after they filled out forms, asking clarifying questions. That way you start to like piece together all of the things that are out of balance, and then you can start to discuss with your patient ways that they can start implementing changes. That's the other thing that like is really missing, is like the support going forward. Let's say you've identified your issues, you know what you need to work on. The implementation though is sometimes the trickiest part for people. Like, so let's say they know what they need to eat, but then like there's a lot of lifestyle factors getting in the way, a lot of competing priorities getting in the way of them implementing the diet that they know they need to follow to get well. So yeah, what should doctors ask? That's so hard. I think that they should be asking just so many more questions and being really curious about your patient's symptoms. I would say like recognizing that they're having these symptoms and getting really clear on how the symptoms are showing up, what improves them, how severe they are, how frequent they are. Really taking a really good history and giving time. That's what I think practitioners should focus on, and not dismissing.
Beautiful. So what is it like to work with you?
Oh, well, I mean, not to brag or anything, but it's supposed to feel like a massive coming home to your body and a massive empowerment, and also like a massive therapy session where like you get to experience someone really hearing you for the first time. If you imagine all of your life, most of us have been going to doctors, we get a few minutes here and there, and we feel just sort of pushed aside by the people that are supposed to be taking care of our health and well-being. They're responsible for our health and well-being. So you're going to get somebody who is going to listen and not rush you. And I'm going to probably ask you way more questions than you ever were comfortable answering about your body and your bowel movements. And we're going to do that. And then you're going to get to see for yourself, like, look at all of these pieces that I wasn't even like connecting earlier. And then we're going to then look at functionally, okay, what systems in the body might be out of balance. I'm going to help you understand how to interpret your blood tests so that, if you are told you're healthy, but you're not feeling good, I'm going to show you how to look at them in a different way and show you, here's how we spot the trends or the patterns where the blood markers are going in the wrong direction, like detecting problems early on. I'm going to teach you how to do that. The idea is that you're going to walk away feeling just so empowered, and like you can advocate for yourself when you do go to your doctor and be like, hey, here's what I identify as an issue. Here's what I see as a pattern. I don't want to keep going. What can we do for that? What can you do for me? And having that conversation. So that's how it would feel to work with me initially. Ongoing, I can help you to make all kinds of amazing, deep emotional and lifestyle changes so that you can support your healing protocol. But, just to get going with what I'm offering right now is a gut health action plan. This is like a standalone deep dive appointment where we're going to get to just like get deep into your history, deep into your symptoms. Again, we're going to do that listening, and we're going to see what might be going on so that you can go forward and you can decide what you want to do next. If you'd like to work with someone long-term, coaching and really implementing, or if you want to go to your doctor. So that's how it would feel to work with me right now.
And one more question. What are the benefits or the pros of working with a health coach versus a doctor? I feel like we already went into that, but because I think a health coach is probably quite new to a lot of people, so I want to give more thinking points. So what are the benefits of choosing to work with a health coach or a doctor, or ideally should it be both?
Such a good question. I really think that it should be both. I would hope that everybody who is experiencing chronic health challenges or not has a team of different professionals to support them. We really all need so much support in a challenging environment where there's just so many assaults on our body. So I would say in an ideal world, I would love for a client to have a great, compassionate, open-minded doctor that they're working with that can prescribe them pharmaceuticals if they need them, that will be able to order testing under their insurance plan. That's useful, right? And then a health coach, what I like to bring as a coach is I like to bring more insight and education and interpretation into your experience. Like a doctor may not have all that time to explain to you what the blood markers mean and to kind of educate you a little bit more in like your physiology in a way. I like to bring that piece so that when you go to your doctor, you have 10 minutes, you know the right questions to ask, like you know exactly what you want, and it's very focused. Also the implementation. So I've worked with really great, like acclaimed naturopathic doctors. I've worked with nutritionists. I've worked with a lot of the gamut of professionals in the natural health space. Yet I found that I always felt like I needed more support in the implementation, in adjusting my protocol when things didn't quite feel right. And also to get like that moral support that like just to keep going and to keep persisting, because it can be a long journey. Healing is a circular journey. It is rarely linear. Okay. And so like for me, my journey has been 4 years now since I started to really address my issues. And I can say that I just wish I had had someone with me along the way, like to be there for me when I was like crying and defeated and like nothing's working, or when I'm like, I'm having such a hard time missing the foods that I'm giving up because I know it'll support my body and my healing to give them up. I wish I had somebody there to like really just hold my hand and to keep cheering me on and to help me keep adapting to the protocol in a good way.
Yeah. Making big changes to how you eat can be very socially isolating, and that can be hard, and it's a deterrent for a lot of people.
Oh my gosh, yes, it is. You're spot on. It's one of the biggest blocks that my clients experience is, how do I support my body and implement all these suggestions you're making for me without being like that standout person that has to like bring their own dish to a party because they are not able to have everything that's on offer. So yeah, such a big one. And I'm so glad you brought that up.
And I know that you cook really well, so you can also share amazing recipes.
Yeah, I'm a professionally trained chef. Like in my first career, I did get a degree in nutrition science. However, I didn't want to work in a clinical setting. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be a chef. I loved cooking. I come from a family that loves cooking. And so that was a natural path for me. And it's funny because I got like classical training in French culinary school. And I was like, this is so not me. This is so just like old fashioned. And it was literally just like centuries old French cuisine. And I'm like, no. But then I also studied in Thailand. I studied Southeast Asian cooking. intensively. So I've traveled the world a lot. So I have a lot of exposure and like different ways to implement healthy cooking in a way that's like sustainable, delicious, fulfilling. So yeah, I love to bring that in. It's fun to like bring that in and to support my clients that way. Definitely.
Because eating really healthy can still be delicious.
It's the best. Like I always say, like, I don't know about you, but like I'm not that interested. I used to be a foodie. Like I used to be a foodie before my health when you know got challenging. I was just like eating all the food and going to all like the new restaurants, and that was exciting to me. That brought me a lot of pleasure. But now I'm like, oh my God, nothing is like cooler to me than eating like a really good, like earthy carrot that I got from the farmer's market, or like eating like an incredible ripe, like seasonal persimmon that's just like biting into a ball of pudding. Like there's nothing better than me. Like I'm like, I don't care, like, you know, if it's the best chef in the world, the best restaurant in the world, like there's something just classic about like a really incredible raw ingredient.
Yeah, it is. It can be amazing and joyful. And yeah,
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so if someone wants to work with you, how can they contact you?
Oh, thank you. It's such a pleasure to get to connect with everyone who's watching this video. And I love to be social. So on Instagram, that's where I hang out the most. It's at Angelica C. Martin. So spell it Angel ICA C Martin. From there, I have a link on my profile where you can find out about all I'm doing, how to work with me in like a deep dive session, or if you'd like, I have a free guide that I really want to share. If you find this talk interesting and like you want to start to get some basics in place and just like DIY it, I have a free guide. It's downloadable and you can find it on my Instagram profile. And it's a way to like address the digestion at the root cause, like start to optimize it so that you can heal like any more complicated issues that may arise. But it's so important to get those foundations in place. So I offer that for free, and I'd love for everyone to check that out.
How amazing to get a free resource like that. Okay, Instagram, and then are you on Linktree as well?
Oh yeah, I do have a link tree. It's a little hard because of that URL. Linktree does something funny, so we can post it in the video description. Yeah, it's funny how they write that out. But yeah, if you go to my Instagram profile though, like you can find my Linktree, and that's like, yeah, that's basically my homepage where all the stuff I'm doing, my free download, coaching options, it's all there.
Oh, amazing! Great. Thank you so much, Angelica. And
thank you
everyone for sharing and moving in the direction of your highest version.
Yes, it's such a good way to close. Thank you.
Thank you.